We are here for another episode of Expose and Express. And today we have, of course, Burns, Rashi, and myself. Jenny's taking a break today, and we will catch her all up on all the information, of course, that we learned today. But in today's episode, we will be covering the importance of health and wellness, and we will be throughout all of July, which I can't believe it's going to be almost July, so that's pretty awesome. So our guest today is Todd Mitchell from Phoenix, Arizona. He's a personal trainer, health coach, and the owner of Fitness Home Delivery. So welcome, Todd. So good to see you.
Pleasure to be here.
Woo-hoo! So we're excited to learn about how you impact your clients' health and maybe give us and our guests some suggestions on how to start the process of becoming healthier, which is so important, especially with the state of everything with COVID. And we want to be healthier. We want to be, that fit person that can walk around and take on additional, things in our lives without having the hindrance of our health taking us down. So welcome, and let's get the show going. So my first question for Todd is, what motivated you to become a personal trainer and health coach?
Good question.
Yay, let's do this.
All right, so back in 2000, I was about to graduate with a finance degree, and because that's what I want to do my whole life leading up to college, is the stock market and investments. I mean, that was my passion. So I got a call in early 2000. I was going to graduate in May, and my dad had to have a test, and the test results were back, and it turns out that he had massive blockage everywhere and had to go into surgery in 2 days. So I drove back to Kansas City, and he ended up having 6 bypasses.
Wow.
You hear about double bypasses, triple, quadruple.
Yeah.
No, he had 6 bypasses.
Wow.
He was only 53 at the time.
Wow, still young.
But he smoked, he did not eat right, he was overweight, obese, was not healthy in any way, shape, or form, had high blood pressure his whole life, and it was a wake-up call. I had actually, in high school, had my blood pressure taken, and it was high for a high schooler. So I started taking it again as I was a senior in college, which I had not lived well at all, typical college student. My blood pressure was sky high at 22.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
So that's what got me into health, and I started working out. And the more I did it, the more I loved it. This was just working out. This was going to the gym and exercising every day.
Right.
But here's what I noticed. It wasn't lowering my blood pressure. Was not affecting it at all. Okay. So that's when I started looking into food, and I started experimenting, and I started slowly getting the blood pressure down. As the years went by, I still loved investments, but I was thinking, man, I really love the health industry. Can I give up a career that I had spent, at that point, 25 years developing? I kid you not, I say 25 years. I wanted to be a stockbroker since I was 8. Could I give this up and actually become a personal trainer? So I actually started grad school, moved down to Austin, started grad school at the University of Texas. I was going to get a master's in basically mutual fund management.
Mm-hmm.
And I started interviewing for the job, and they were mapping out what the next 10 years of my life was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what did it. I mean, them telling me what the next 10 years of my life was going to be and realizing how unhealthy it was going to be, the switch finally switched on, and I dropped out of the MBA program and went to work getting a fitness degree. And I finished that in 2009. So that is basically what motivated me to become a trainer. And for most people to make the massive, massive change, it usually does take some massive, massive event that happens to them, the wake-up call. And that's what did it for me. I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
You know, I can relate to you about having high blood pressure. Like even when I was working out, like a few years back, and then I had my blood test taken, and they said, "Oh, you know, your blood pressure is a little too high, a little blood cholesterol as well." Was like borderline. The doctor was saying, and she wanted to like give me medication for it, and I was like, "No, I am going to change lifestyle." Because I didn't want to be like, you know, a slave of medication, like especially synthetic drugs, where I have been, you know, eating healthy, like cleansing quarterly, and then put drugs in my system. So I started eating oatmeal in the morning, and then that did it. Like it lowered my blood cholesterol and balanced my my blood pressure. For some reason it worked. And then like, you know, just eat normal food and during the day, but like in the morning I changed my habit and was eating that oatmeal, and that really helped.
Yeah, I resisted the medication too. So, and this was in my mid-20s. I was like, I don't need medication for blood pressure, but the doctors kept telling me, yes, you do. It is high. And like I said, I was working out daily and it wasn't budging. So I went on medication. Gosh, it's been so long. I think it was when I was 26. And like I said, it wasn't budging. So I started eating, but it still wasn't going down enough. It was when I actually became a health coach. So graduated in 2009, became a personal trainer, still working out a lot, but still was on that medication. And then I started learning about the food, in-depth learning about the food. And that's when I became a health coach. And when I actually started eating correctly, which I thought I had been for a decade. I thought, you know, at the time, if you went out and Googled what a healthy diet is, then I was on it. But my blood pressure wasn't happening. So it was when I became a health coach and really started diving into what's truly healthy food. That's when the blood pressure just plummeted. And I actually was able to eliminate the medication for years and years and years. Now, things changed when COVID hit. I will admit. So my blood pressure has been low for, it's been so long. It's probably at least a decade that I haven't taken medication for years and years and years. And then COVID came around, and it was just the constant daily stress of that actually it didn't go up to the high levels before by any means, shape, or form, but it went up to a level that I was like, wow, that's actually a risk factor of COVID. So I actually last month got back on medication.
What?
And I did, because I want it super low. And it is now. It's insanely low. I'm borderline. Yeah. So between what I'm eating and the medication, I'm insanely low now. Good. Once COVID's over, that stress is gone. I fully expect to get back off of it.
Yeah, stress puts a lot of you know, bad things in our body. Really, a lot of ailments happen when we have a lot of stress. We experience a lot of stress. I believe that.
Yeah.
So
I believe that.
With your type of coaching, like what do you do for your clients?
So my coaching is all about lifestyle. It's not about just as you can probably guess from the stories I've just told, it's not just about the working out. It's about the whole package. My clients tend to be the ones with these underlying conditions that we're hearing so much about, whether it's the diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, arthritis. They're in pain. These are my types of clients. They're older. My youngest are generally in their 30s all the way up to their 80s. So that's my typical clientele, and it's all about the whole lifestyle. So not only working out, but eating right, stress management, behavior change, sleep. Everyone underrates sleep.
Tell us about sleep.
Yeah, tell us about sleep.
Tell us about sleep, because as moms, a lot of their guests that are listening, we sacrifice sleep. We try to do it all, right? The list is long. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's 11:30 and we're finally just going to bed.
Or you
talk to us.
You know what? Talking about sleep, actually, that's one of the reasons why my blood pressure went up. I was always sleeping late at night.
Oh no.
Going to bed late. All right, Todd, give us the 101 on sleep.
So you need at least 7 hours at a bare minimum to be healthy. Some people need more, is the reality of it. But you need at least 7 hours. And for the parents out there, it's typically an early start to the day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the alarms are going off sometimes at 5, 6 at the latest, right? So that means, you do the math when you got to be asleep, not just in bed, but actually asleep.
Yeah.
It's got to be by 10, by 11 at the latest. You're actually in a sleep. And that's assuming you sleep through the whole night well. There's no wake ups and you're up for 30 minutes. So each individual person is different. I tell people 10 o'clock you should be asleep, which means 9:30 you need to be laying down, eyes closed.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy, right? 9:30.
Right? I'm like, how am I going to get my dishes done, Todd?
Yeah. Actually, that's crazy because I go to sleep, like, for example, normally I would go to bed like 12 midnight. Oops. And then at around 2 o'clock, I would be awake. It's like somebody woke me up and I won't be able to go back to sleep until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then usually I'm up at 5. So that's usually, because they would just say you're sleeping, but I do wake up in the middle of the night. So that's not considered sleep, right? Not good 8 hours of sleep.
Unfortunately not, no. And the effects are nasty. You just don't realize it because you don't link the two. You don't realize that lack of sleep is linked to belly fat. You don't realize that lack of sleep is linked to stress hormones in your body. You don't realize that lack of sleep is linked to depression, anxiety. The list goes on and on. For guys, the lack of sleep causes the sleep apnea, which causes the heart to stop.
See, now it makes sense because I do work out. I play badminton before COVID. I play badminton, in the badminton court for 3 times a week. So it's a good cardio for at least 2 hours a day. Not 3 hours of badminton games. So 3 times a week. And then with my doctor, because I've been with my doctor for how many years already? I started, I was 120 pounds. And then I asked him, can I lose weight? And then he told me, yes, because you're Asian, you could still lose like 10 more pounds because that was your pre-baby weight. Because it depends on the body structure. So it's like, oh, we're fine. You're in good health. So if you want to lose weight, it's fine. Then the following year, I was like 125. Instead of losing weight, I was gaining weight. And then now, like how many years later, I'm okay. I'm selling it right now. I'm on my biggest. I'm on 140 pounds, which is what my weight when I was pregnant with a child. Now I don't have any children. My blood work is clear every year. Like I don't have any high blood pressure, no high cholesterol, no, like I'm not even pre-diabetic. It's just clear. But he's probably looking at me like, for the past 6 years, you've been telling me to lose 5 pounds, and you've been gaining 5 pounds like every year. Now when you told me, it's probably the sleep that I was deprived. So I think that is the one factor that I've been missing. The sleep, right? Probably.
Oh, it absolutely plays a role. Absolutely.
Because yeah, because I've been thinking like, what's wrong? I think I'm doing everything right.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. I mean, most people, they don't go from healthy to obese, in a year or two. It's a slow 5 pounds a year. All of a sudden, 10 years from now, you're 50 pounds overweight. I mean, it's
yeah. But in the
thing.
pre-show, we didn't talk about sleep, but we did talk about weights. So a lot of our women listeners out there, talk to us about weight training, Todd. The impact of how essential it is, or is it essential? Is it not essential? As far as females, a lot of women are out there, doing the cardio, right? We're all about the cardio, and that's easy and that's comfortable for us. A lot of women have this perception that if I lift weights, I'm going to get bulky and it's not going to look sexy anymore. And, like my arms aren't going to look good or whatever. So talk to us about weight training and how that plays a part into our health for women specifically.
As far as mistakes people make, that's definitely in the top 3, that weight training is not prioritized for women. So for the vast, vast, vast majority of women, weight training will not make you bulky. It's only for women who have genetic high testosterone levels that they will actually bulk up. If you have that, you'll know it quick. Chances are you do not. Okay, very small percentage of women have that. What it will do is make you tone. What it will do is increase your muscle mass, which muscle mass burns more calories while you're just sitting on the couch. A woman who has been weight training versus a woman who has been running, they will be burning calories while they're sitting on the couch versus the woman who is running, which is mainly just burning calories while they're on the treadmill. Which,
good to know.
Okay, if you've ever, so the calorie counters on the treadmill or other pieces of cardio equipment are for the most part junk, but they give you a general idea, right, of how many calories you're burning. Okay, so say you absolutely kill yourself for a 30-minute treadmill session. I mean, how many calories do you think that burns?
Like
Take a guess.
200.
200.
200, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you go for an hour straight, of killing yourself, you might hit 500. Okay. You can do the math. 1 pound of weight is 3,500 calories. Okay. So that session, you just killed yourself on the treadmill for 500 calories. I mean, you can do the math.
That's dessert, right?
You barely put a dent in it, right? You've got to get your body burning calories constantly, 24/7, a calorie burning machine. And the way to do that is increase the part of your body that's muscle. That's where the weight training comes in. You've got to increase that muscle mass, and it's so important for women. The guys, you don't have to convince to weight train.
Right.
They do it. It's definitely the women you have to convince, and it's so vitally important, much more important than the treadmill. In the order.
$1 million question.
Yep.
Type of weights do you think should be using? Because I've seen others were like using 3-pound weights. I'm like, that's not gonna do you anything.
It
have
can.
those.
It can. You're just gonna have to do it for longer. So
More reps.
it just takes more reps. So you get the same result doing 3 pounds for 20 reps as you do for 15 pounds for 4 reps. Okay. The key point is you got to max yourself out. You have to max yourself out. And I'm not talking 1 rep max where you put on your absolute heaviest weight that you can only get up 1 time. That's not what I'm talking about. You hurt yourself doing that. I'm talking about you have to max yourself out where you can only do 1 or 2 more reps of whatever weight you're doing. So if you pick up a 3-pound weight, you got to keep going, probably 20 or 30 times before you tire out. If you pick up a 10-pound weight, you won't have to do it as long. Honestly, the key to making it more interesting is to go back and forth. Like one training session, you do light weights and a bunch of them, and another training session, you go heavy and do little of them. But so for women, if I rank the 3 most important things to being at a healthy weight, it's food, strength training, and then cardio. Cardio is last.
That's good to know.
I need to start weight training then.
And then you're going to guarantee us the belly fat goes away, Todd?
Yeah. What's the belly fat? I missed that.
So
well, go ahead, Todd.
It's 80% food. If you're talking belly fat, it's 80% what you eat, and then 20% exercise. And that 20% needs to be both strength training and cardio. Both. Strength training, if there's a choice, you do the strength training. Like if you can only do one, you do the strength training. But if you want the whole package, you do the eating, strength training, and cardio last.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna do $1 million question. Alcohol.
Wait a minute.
Alcohol. No.
Am I getting this $1 million?
Yes, you will.
Right?
Yes, you will. No, let's talk about the alcohol though, because I'm from Jersey. We got alcohol. Don't you know, during COVID time, all our alcohol liquor stores and even winery are open. It's considered essential here in Jersey.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Oh,
So we have our alcohol. What is your take on alcohol and belly fat?
Well, yeah, the term beer belly is very true. There's no getting around it. I mean, it guys who drink a lot, it goes straight to their belly. Girls who drink a lot, it goes straight to wherever the ladies store the fat. Alcohol really gives no nutritional value. And you're typically drinking it at a time when your body doesn't need the calories, late at night, right? So you want to think of your body. You want to think of your body as a machine, okay? Just like a car. When do you put the gasoline, the fuel into the car? Before you take the trip or after you take the trip? You put it in before. That's the only way to make the machine go, right? So you want to put your fuel in your body at the start of the day. That's why, breakfast, big, lunch, medium, dinner, small. And then when you load it up late at night with a bunch of alcohol fuel, your body doesn't need it. So it stores immediately. There's no getting around it. Not saying you can't ever do it. And there's plenty of room for, the daily glass of wine. But if you actually want the belly fat to go away, the alcohol has to be severely limited.
Severely limited.
Beer is taken in the morning.
Breakfast.
From a physiological weight loss standpoint, yes. It is better to get drunk after breakfast than late at night.
All right, if there's one thing we've learned, ladies, all across the world, there you go.
Prepared. I came prepared.
Oh, are you serious? Get out of here, Raji. Don't talk to me about belly fat. Because in New Jersey, it's what, 4 o'clock?
Yeah. So I have to finish it now before dinner.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
Okay, so taking that to more of a, okay, well, maybe that is a real world in this case, but a more real world example. So like chocolate, dessert, you know, things that people crave. You don't have to get rid of your most important cravings. You got a time when you eat them. So if you love chocolate, have it as a morning snack. Don't have it. Dessert after dinner is a killer. Dessert after breakfast or after lunch or as a snack is not a killer. So you got to time your cravings.
Ooh,
That's time your cravings, ladies.
Okay.
that's good to know.
So I got a question now, because we were talking about the stress of COVID, right? And right now here in Jersey, the gyms are still closed. So how is it? Did you have to do anything for your business to change that? Because all gyms are closed.
Yeah, massive transformation that's still in progress.
Yeah.
So I've been training clients now for 10 years, and it's a mobile business where I go to their house and I bring all the equipment and I train them. Again, most of my clients' underlying conditions, they are high risk. I've already had one client who has contracted it. More than half of my clients are doctors who work in hospitals.
Wow. Yeah.
So I kind of have an inside view of what reality is out there versus what you read about in the media. But yeah, I had to completely transform my business to online only, and it's still in progress. I've gotten all of my existing clientele transferred over, but I haven't accepted any new clientele as of yet until I get it fully operational, fully up and running. But yeah, it's been a change.
Do you have clients? So when you do your programs with your clients, you come in one day and you expect them to do it other days?
It just depends on how many times they're wanting me to come out per week. Yeah. If they're having me come out twice a week, then no, they don't have to do. So strength train twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. But then they do the cardio on their own. They do the eating plans on their own. But yes, as far as the sessions, the strength training sessions, it just depends on how many times they want me out. They can do 2 times a week, 1 time a week, every other week. And then I leave the equipment, or I used to leave the equipment, and they do it all on their own.
So do they just rent the equipment from you now, or how do you, like, you don't have enough equipment for everybody, do you?
For the most part, because I would vary exercises.
Okay.
You know, when one client was using one piece of equipment, another client would be using another piece of equipment. So I'd rotate it in and out. And they all have a decent amount of equipment still from when I was that they can use, and I'm just tailoring it to that. Now, the longer this goes, it's probably going to be a case where they're going to need to order some equipment on their own.
Right. Makes sense.
I see those elastic bands behind you, and those are great for replacing dumbbells, like safer too for some people, because don't smash your face.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously. Because
yeah, what is the difference between regular dumbbells and the resistance bands?
It's a different type of training. The resistant bands, so you can't get as heavy with the resistance bands. And you can always get heavier by using the actual weights. The resistance bands are easier to use. So if you're thinking older clients, they're easier for them to use than heavier dumbbells. From a physiological standpoint, they just work your muscles in a little different way. They're very popular in like physical therapy settings where you're trying to help people get out of pain or rehab an injury. It's just different equipment that works your body in different ways. And I mean, the best is to have as much equipment as possible so you can hit your body in multiple different ways.
Okay, so what's your advice? Like for me, I would be, I will start weight training.
Yeah, she's gonna start.
Yeah. So for me, like I will be starting it, and because all the gyms are closed, so if I would buy an equipment for a starter, what are your suggestions?
I would for probably the top of my list would be dumbbells for you. A set of 2, 3, 5, 8, 10, something like that. And that will give you just so much variety on how many different exercises you can do. I mean, you can also get a little bench that's fairly cheap that, inclines up.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, has like 5 different incline settings. I mean, that would give you so much variety. And then you can, I mean, we were kind of talking about this in the pre-show, the Peloton product. So everyone knows Peloton from the bike, right? And I mean, that's how it's gotten super popular. But they actually have an app that you can subscribe to and get all of their workout programs for just the cost of the app. You don't have to have the bike. You don't have to have their treadmill, none of their equipment. You just get access to all of their trainers for like $9 a month. And it's not just biking, it's treadmill, it's strength training, it's yoga, it's meditation. It's just a wide variety where you can actually have a professional walking you through the exercises. And there's so much variety out there. It gives you, you're not going to get bored.